Welcome to Total Football with Sports Adda. I said some brilliant games yesterday, and firstly and most importantly, what is your reaction on Cristiano Ronaldo yet again breaking the records that it's very normal for us now. So, what are your thoughts on him becoming the all-time leading goal scorer, just 3 goals or 4 goals away? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. It was a brilliant game to watch. As I said, the Hungarians were resilient in the first half, but once the floodgates opened, you just expected Ronaldo to come up with the goods. He scored 2 goals, one of course a penalty, and you expect him to take it out. There was a bit of a debate, at that time.
Yeah,
Will Bruno Fernandes take it or will Ronaldo? But from the match coming out, he stepped up and he converted it. And he also broke another record, the most goals at a Euro final. And
yeah,
with that, he moves to 11, just ahead of Platini. But Platini, a legend, scored 9 goals in 5 matches in just one Euro. So he
yeah.
himself is another legend.
So we'll come to the French game as well later on. But speaking of Portugal and speaking of Ronaldo, now he set another record. What are your thoughts on him? Being can he break the record in this Euro itself? Because the way he's scoring goals, he scored the second goal. It was like I score on FIFA. Cutting the goalkeeper and scoring the goal. What do you have to say about his second goal and the tournament now?
So, I mean, with Ronaldo, nothing surprises me anymore. He's capable of everything, right? So I do expect him, if they are able to go to the quarters or semis, to break it by then. But you never say never. They might just come against stringent teams who don't allow them the space that they probably were afforded yesterday, especially with them
Yeah.
coming up against France and Germany next. But yes, a good start for them. They needed this, you know,
They,
with the game
they
coming up.
a harsh defeat, I must say, for Hungarians. They were very good, very promising. The captain was fantastic. You know, Salah was brilliant, and really sad to see a 3-0 defeat on their part. Quickly moving on to the next game, France versus Germany. It was the most awaited contest of this whole tournament by now. And everyone was wanting to see a goal fest, but it was not to be. We saw a goal ruled out in the end from Kylian Mbappe, and surprisingly, it was another own goal. You said there'll be no Juventus players, nothing, but असर हो रहा है फुटबॉल पे यूवेंटस वालों का.
True. Actually, that itself might be another record. Like the most own goals scored in a Euro final has been 3, and we've already got that in the first round itself. So, own goals playing a big part in this tournament.
Yes, yes. Probably in the final also we could see a couple of own goals. You never know.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not. Now moving to the first game, it is Finland versus Russia. Sid, Finland versus Russia. What is the first thing that comes to your mind looking at these two sides? And one out of a brilliant defeat, and one out of this this game of Russia. What do you have to say about these two teams? Because I don't see it as a very promising game. But what are your thoughts on this game, Sid?
Yeah. So, a lot of expectations from this game to see what and how the group shaped up, going forward. Because if you
Yeah,
see, the Italians are going to be the runaway winners, but who other than that are going to go forward? A lot of it is going to depend on this. No one expected Finland to win. Them coming into their first tournament, a lot of inexperience on their side. Unfortunately, with the incident with Christian Eriksen, it did play a big role in the mindset of the players on both sides of
yeah,
the field. So they did come up with an unexpected win. Hoiberg missing a penalty, brilliant save,
yes,
from the keeper. So Finland will take that as a bit of a confidence booster and want to push forward in this game. So and also for Russia it was frustrating, losing 3-0 to Belgium. So Russia have claimed 4 victories out of 4 encounters with Finland, so they have that little bit of advantage. Okay, but during this time they have scored 15 goals, and actually, if you see the Finnish manager Kanerva participating in 6-0 defeat for them in '95, so a little bit of history there.
a little bit of history there, and obviously these stats don't matter when you are playing on the field. But us sitting here at our homes in the studios, people can comment on it, and it really makes a point. That Russia have
Yeah.
had the upper hand, Finland have had the upper hand, whichever way it is. Now speaking of Russia, they have not won in the Euros since 2012. Their last win came against the Czech Republic, and that is way long back in 2012. That is like 2 Euros back. So a lot to look forward to in the Finland game for them. It could be a crucial game for them. It'll decide their fate in this tournament. This one.
Absolutely, because see now Finland are actually in second place right now. Okay,
Yeah.
the Danish will want to move forward in third, and actually from the sixth group, four third place teams are going to go through. So a lot of
Yeah.
play for all the teams. So then they have to make most of their chances. And as we said, stats always tell us one story, but the stats are one thing, and the performance by the team on the day is a completely different thing.
Yes. Now, Sid, speaking of their last 5 games that they've played, Finland in the last few games, they've had a decent record. Looking at their side, as you said, this is the first time they've qualified in a major tournament. But looking at their record, although they've lost those 3 games, a couple of them were international friendlies. So, do you think, the form really matters when you play such a tournament, or it is just the day and how you play on that day?
So it's a little bit of both. You take a little bit of confidence, or something plays in your mind if you've lost the last 2 or 3 matches. But once you're in
Yeah.
the tournament, you played the first tournament in your national career ever as a country, and you've won it. That's a huge confidence boost for you. But taking
Yeah.
that into the game is another thing, obviously, and also the mindset of the opposition does play a role. How they set up, how the tactics are there. So a lot of look forward to from these matches.
And similarly, if we look at the Russian, last 5-6 games, they've had a decent run. If you look at the form that you were talking about, they've had a decent run in the last 5-6 games. They've played well. They've got 3 wins and two losses in these 6 games. But do you think that this Russian team has what it takes? Because they're going to be missing out Yuri Zirkov, and he's a very integral part of this team. The experience that he brings. The last time on the show, I remember you pointed out that he has played for Chelsea and he's been a veteran in this side. Now he's been ruled out. So you think that the left back who's coming in has to fill the shoes, and will he be able to do it? That's the question.
So a lot of questions over there, regarding the left back spot. Of course, Yuri Zirkov does bring a lot of experience, but also there's another counter argument that he has aging legs at 37. So the
Yeah.
young blood coming in might give an extra boost on that wing, or a little bit of extra pace or recovery pace, if you may, in the defensive stats. So there is a lot of things, but again, for a defender, experience is an important factor. So we'll only know once he steps into the team and how he integrates with the rest of the team. Because if you see the offside trap, okay, it is a very niche and very crucial point. Someone just one step behind gives the attacker a chance to be onside.
Yeah.
Probably Kylian Mbappe would have been onside if there was an inexperienced defender a step behind. So a lot of
Yeah.
experience is needed, coordination with the team is needed. Hopefully that does not play a big role as a detrimental role for Russia.
Speaking of age and experience, like you said, if you look at that, North Macedonia has Goran Pandev and Cristiano Ronaldo is 36 himself. So age is just a number when it comes to these players, such players. So I think it will be a major, point for Russia that they are missing out on Yuri Zirkov, just like you said. And finally, what are your predictions for this game? Because this game looks like it's in the favor of Russia, like what I've read and what I'm seeing by people saying it. Because they've got 4 wins in their last 4 games that they've played. So, what are your thoughts?
So, having to play another grueling 90 minutes against stiff opposition in Russia is going to be a monumentally difficult task for Finland players, all of
Yes.
whom could never have imagined being forced to witness what they saw on the pitch. Okay, and that may have changes for their team depending on what kind of headspace and mindset that the team are in. And while Russia will be forced into some altercations themselves, with the injuries that they've suffered. Okay, so I think we will see their superior quality, shining through in a hard-fought win. So I don't think the
Yeah.
Finnish are going to, take it easy and let them have the win. But I think it's going to be a tough-fought win, and maybe 2-1 for the Russians.
2-1 for the Russians. And I'm really looking forward to this game because, such games people don't really enjoy watching because the players are not, like there are no legends in the teams, or like there are no Cristiano Ronaldos or Bales or even Lewandowski's. But such teams, in fact, sometimes they can shock you and surprise you at the same time with the beautiful football that they
Yeah.
can play. So it's going to be a match to look out for. And quickly moving on to the next game, it's Turkey versus Wales. Now, Sid, Wales have got a decent, draw under their belt in the last game. It was a tough match, but they got that 1 point at once. And Turkey, and you look at Turkey, they've lost the game 3-0 and they were outplayed by the Italians. So this group has just got one place to play for. That's the second spot, is what I feel, and that spot is going to be really crucial. So, do you think that this Wales side and this Turkish side, do you think they are a good team to take that spot, or do you think that Switzerland are better one?
So, even in the last game, there were some fine saves by Danny Ward in the Welsh goal,
Yeah,
keeping Mbolo and Seferovic outside, not letting them score. So, he kept them in the game. And, it leaves Wales in not a difficult, but a decent position after the first set of fixtures in Group A with a victory against Turkey. It will prove effectively enough to seal a place in the last 16 for them. Okay, and
yeah,
a defeat to the Turkey side, okay, that will be heavily supported in Azerbaijan, however, and all of that will change the dynamics. Okay,
yes, it
so
will.
if they lose to Turkey, it's going to change the dynamics of the group. Okay, but on the other hand, the defeat to Italy ended a run of 6 games without a defeat to Turkey. And though Turkey have not lost back-to-back matches since November, they are expected to, maybe get in and get a win against Wales. But it's going to prove a little difficult because both teams have quality players within them to prove.
Just like you can see here, Wales have played 6 games against Turkey, winning 3, losing 2, and 1 draw in them. So there's no winner in this because, and most importantly, in a tournament such as this, you can't really say beforehand that it's going to be a one-sided affair. It was just like what we saw against Hungary. Portugal really struggled to score in the first half, and the way they played really showed that even a Hungarian side who was literally written off by people like us had something to prove to us, and they really proved us wrong when it came to those 83 or 84 minutes till the time they conceded the first goal.
Yeah. Actually, even Turkey, they came into the tournament as dark horses, and a lot of expectations were there from them. Unfortunately, the Italians did step up their game on the day, and they came out 3-0 victorious. But you know, there will be a little bit of pressure on the Turkish team, and the Turkish team boasts an impressive record against Wales. Last losing the fixture in 1981 when their current coach Gunes was in goal for them. Okay, and if you see the Wales coach page was actually on field when Wales last met Turkey in '97, a game that finished 6-4 in Turkey's favour. So that was a really
Yes,
interesting game, a goal fest in our words. But these coaches also have the motivation of history of playing for these countries. So a little bit of
indeed.
reminiscence for them, and they want to change, at least on Page's side, he want to change the history over here.
So, it's a no-brainer from the Welsh side that Gareth Bale will be the player to watch out for. But if you look at the Turkish players, there are a lot of players there. As we spoke about Yilmaz earlier, there's a Soyuncu in there. There's a Kabak who can come in. But this Cengiz Under, he's a player who I've heard of and I've heard his name. It rings a bell to me. But I've not really seen him perform extraordinarily at the club level so far.
So, so he did come in and was an exciting prospect. Okay, Roma signed him for big money, and unfortunately, injuries have caused some concerns that he's not been able to become a mainstay in the team. And to get him minutes, he was actually loaned to Leicester City in the Premier League last season. But again,
Yes, that's true.
injuries and the form of their players have prevented him from getting a consistent run of games at club level. So he
Yeah.
is an exciting talent, but unfortunately, he hasn't been able to get the number of games or minutes under his belt.
And the Welsh game and the Welsh record in the last 5 games is pretty decent. I must say they've won a couple of games, they've drawn a couple of games, so they are somewhere not really short of confidence, but they really need a win to get that morale going, and to get forward in the tournament you need to win early to go big,
Yeah,
because if you keep getting a couple of draws, it's like what happened to Portugal last time around. They got these
yeah,
3 draws and then it was like they didn't know where they'll go in the tournament. So
yeah.
something to worry about in for Wales in this game, you think?
No, I don't think it's something to worry about because, as you said, Portugal last time around had only 3 draws in the group stage, but went on to become eventual winners. It's more of what you make of the situation, right? Now, depending on their position in the table, they'll have to modify the game. Probably against Italy, sit back and look for a draw, just like I
Yeah,
believe in what will happen in the next game with the Swiss. But they will have to change their stance. This game is somewhere where they will try to go for a win, but avoid a draw at the same, rather avoid a loss at the same time. A draw would not be a bad result for them.
exactly why I said that Wales need to win this one, because the next game is going to be against Italy. So that's the whole point of my conversation here, because Italy is not going to let you lose and let you win. In fact, sorry, they're not going
Yeah.
to lose to you. So this game is do or die for them. Don't you think that way?
Yes, it is do or die, but the least that is expected from them is a draw. A loss will be probably too much for them later on. They might not go through that.
And similarly for Turkey is well said. That's what I
Yeah.
was getting to. That even Turkey need to win this. So whoever wins this has a outside chance to reach the playoffs and reach the knockouts. So this is a very important game in this group.
Yeah, but whoever, if anyone wins, they're sure shot to go through because they'll be at 4 points.
Yeah, 4 or 3, whatever, however.
Yeah, four or three, but yeah, they're going to go through.
So what's your prediction for today? Because this game will decide the fate of these teams in the tournament. So please predict
But
smartly.
see, in Group A was always likely to be dominated by a lot of draws, in my opinion. With so many similarly ranked teams. Aside from heavyweight the Italian national team. So
Yeah,
both teams will be targeting 3 points from this match, as I just said. But I see the points being shared at Baku today, and a result that will keep the group wide open. So a 1-1 draw for me.
it will go all down to the last game week. Then if this
Yeah.
turns out to be a draw, so it's 0-0 from you. Let's now move on to the third game: Italy versus Switzerland. See, these two teams, a lot of players, a lot of familiar faces. Speak of Jorginho, you speak of, Chiellini, you speak of Bonucci. So all these players, and even in the Swiss side, you've got Xhaka and Shaqiri. So do you think this game will be the match to watch, to have the eyes on, because it's the most interesting fixture out of the three?
Yeah. So today there are going to be a lot of eyes on this game. Even from an historical standpoint, there have been these two countries have faced each other over 50 times. But the Italians obviously have a lot of advantage over here. They've actually won 28 of the games, while the Swiss have won only 7. And interestingly, a lot of draws as well. 22 draws amongst them. So
Yes.
there's nothing that is unexpected from them. And also in the last three meetings, all three have been draws. Okay,
Yes, just
but
like
a measure of the mountainous task for the Swiss is that the Azzurri have not lost at all since September 2018 and have yet to concede a goal against themselves this year in 2021. So there's going to be a lot of pressure, but I think at the same time the Swiss are going to sit back and try to take a draw from this, because if they go into a loss and one of the teams in the other match win, okay, it is going to be a monumental task to even qualify as a third
that,
place winner. So
that is
I
true.
think the Swiss are going to sit back in this match and try and absorb the pressure.
They will, because this match, as I said, and I'm saying it over and over, these couple of games are the games that will decide the fate in the tournament for all these four teams,
Yeah.
especially for Swiss and Wales, who have turned out to have a stalemate in the first encounter. Now, speaking of
Yeah.
Italy, you said that they've not lost since 2018. The fact is they've won so much that get it will be very difficult to break them. To break the defense is something that all teams really will look forward to. And in the tournament, we will really see how teams like France or probably Germany or Portugal would play against an Italian side. So do you think Italy are not tested as much when they play these teams, and probably will choke against the bigger sides?
So they might have to test themselves at a later point of time. But their veteran centre backs, Chiellini and Bonucci,
Yeah,
they amongst themselves have around 60 years of experience amongst them.
yeah,
50, 60
yeah.
years of experience among them, and they're the bedrock of their defense. Okay, they are guarding a fairly young yet experienced Donnarumma on goal. A miss for
Yes.
Italy might be Florenzi at their right back, who's an injury concern for them. So a chink in their defense, but I think they have the capability and experience to absorb pressure. But they have the firepower in front as well to try and unlock defenses, even if the Swiss sit back. With Insigne and Immobile, so they have a lot of firepower within them.
And you mentioned Immobile. He is a brilliant player. He has scored average around 20 goals, like you said in the previous show.
Yeah.
And Embolo has been playing brilliantly as well. The goal he scored and the way he was running past the defenders. Do you
Yeah.
think Italy sees a threat in this guy, or what do you have to make of this encounter?
Not only Embolo, even Seferovic. Unfortunately, both of them didn't convert their chances. Otherwise, I believe they would have been comfortably victorious in the first match. So they are a threat going forward, this Swiss team. But even if I look at their midfield, Zakaria, who came in as a substitute, might be into consideration for being introduced as a starter in this match. So Zakaria might prove to be another game changer if he's in the match. He was very dynamic and very, straightforward with his run.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a good point you made there. But there's a very interesting contest that could happen. We could see a Fabian Schär versus Insigne. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Insigne versus Fabian Schär, because Insigne plays on the left and he is
Yeah.
known to take the defenders on and take the wing backs on. What we saw in the first game was he cut inside and used to take a lot of shots. So could you see Fabian Schär being under pressure before this game, and who's going to come out victorious in this particular battle, head-to-head battle?
With Insigne, he's a little diminutive and, but he has a great center of gravity. That's why he's able to cut in and, make a fool out of defenders at times, with his trickery and change of pace, change of direction. And, Fabian Schär is a little direct, he's a little too eager to get into the tackle. Even in the first game, the yellow card that he got at the start of the game, it shows that he's a little eager, and that might play into Insigne's hands. So, Insigne with the advantage over here in this battle.
As Pablo Maldini said, and I quote, that there is a difference being, smart and reckless. You need
Yeah.
to be smart when you play against big players. You can't throw in reckless tackles. You can't concede, stupid fouls, as they say, or cheap fouls for the team. You need
Yeah.
to know when to, give in a good tackle and when to just hold back and delay the attack. So that is something that will be really tested on the Swiss part, because Italians have come after a win and they're having a brilliant winning streak. So finally, to conclude this set, I just want to know your prediction for this game. Who do you think is going to win this game, and what's going to be the score as well?
So as I said, I expect the Swiss team to pursue only a point from this game, rather than go out for a win and lose and, get probably out of the running for the tournament. Okay, the impetus will be on the host to create chances. The Italians will want to, put the ball as frequently as they can to Immobile and Insigne to try and open up the defense. Okay, but can also turn to the likes of exciting winger rather, Chiesa, who was introduced
Yeah.
in the last match as a substitute, to make that difference. But I expect the Swiss to sit back, absorb pressure, go for the draw. But the Italians, with their form and experience, I think they will win narrowly 1-0.
So you're predicting a victory for Italians, and that's what actually most people would say if we had a poll out here. Because Italians are favourites to top this group and reach the knockouts. But a big game for them, okay? A big game, as we see the last 5 games that I just spoke about. They're on a winning streak. It will be very difficult to break the Italian defense. And probably a wonder goal like what Patrick Schick did in against Scotland, something like that is what they might need, or some fortune like an own goal from Matt Hummels. You never expect such things. So something like that is what is needed in this encounter for the Swiss to beat Italians. And I back your prediction 1-0, because even I think that Italy are gonna get this one. So that is it for today. Thank you so much, Sid. Some brilliant talks we had and some interesting stats you always come up with. So that's great, and some fun conversation we had today. Thank you for joining with me. Thank you everyone for watching this show, and this Total Football with Sports Side.
Pleasure.